Hey there, everybody. So, welcome to my annual Black History Makers series, where I interview Black history makers that are local and smaller in scale. We're not interviewing, the Obamas and all of them, because I believe that, there are Black history makers that are not that prominent, and we want to talk to them, and we want to get their views and hear about their businesses and hear their stories. So thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I am talking with the awesome, amazing, on fire Perry Jeffries. So Perry is the president of Diamond Equity Advisors, and I'm going to let Perry introduce himself and tell you more about himself and what he does.
Hey, what's going on, Stacey? This is just totally awesome. What you're doing right here. I think this is just absolutely amazing. What we're doing on our end is I'm doing a post daily of one a figure in Black history, saying little known figures in Black history, and I started doing it. So we're obviously on our, I think, our fourth day now. And what I started doing, I sent a link to my daughters, so they have to report on it. So the twins are 11 years old. They have to report and tell me who they learned about and how were they important to the world and the whole nine. So I absolutely love what you're doing, especially highlighting, maybe the person who's not on the cover of Forbes or the big time magazine. So this is huge. So first of all, I'm humbled that you invited me on. So yes, Perry Jeffries in the marketplace, affectionately known as the entrepreneur CFO. Who am I? As you said earlier, president of Diamond Equity Advisors. We're a what you call a registered investment advisory firm located here in Columbus, Ohio, but we specialize in being a fractional CFO to entrepreneurs and small business owners. So we kind of come in on both ends of the spectrum with respects to dealing with, your traditional financial advisory, as far as, investments and insurance and retirement plans. But our niche and our specialization is really working with those entrepreneurs who are doing those businesses doing less than 5 million, because they are typically in need of getting their cash management systems in order and things of that nature. So they're not in a position to have a full-time CFO. So we come in as a fractional CFO to fill that gap for them so they can focus on making money and providing for their family and working towards financial freedom, knowing that they have the right financial systems and everything else in place. So with that being said, that's who I am professionally. I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I have mentioned earlier, I have twin daughters who are 11 years old. They're probably in the back someplace listening and making funny faces at me right now. And yeah, saying, oh, and by the way, I'm originally from Akron, Ohio. So I'm just a kid from Akron. Big shout out to LeBron James. All right, that's all I got.
You are so funny to me. So listen, so you said fractional CFO. So when you say fractional and you guys you just come in for that smaller business owner, kind of go into a little bit more detail on that with regard to how you help that business owner. And I asked that question because there are a lot of people. 2021 has been, or 2020 was this cray year, right? It was so good for everybody. But not only was it a tough year for people, but it was an amazing year for some. And a lot of people started businesses.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there that they have no idea what to do with their business. They don't know where to go. They don't know how to manage their money. So talk to us about that. I want to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so real super quick backstory, just how we got here. I've been a traditional financial advisor for almost 20 years. So I first got my Series 7 stockbroker's license back in 2003. So it was in, the corporate America, very large Fortune 500 firms. And then I went independent in 2014. So prior to that, I had a real estate portfolio of about 26 doors, if you will. So about $4 million and totally lost it. I'm talking about lost it all. And I could blame it on 2007 to 2009. You remember that market crash, real estate market crash? I could easily be like, oh, I just got beat up because of the market. The reality of it is it wasn't the market. I was going to lose all of it anyway because I was mismanaging the funds in the business. Just that particular time sped that process up a lot quicker. So since then, I've always just been very diligent about learning, okay, how did I mess this up? What did I do wrong? So as I started to evolve in my business as a financial advisor and working with a bunch of entrepreneurs, I found they had the same issues that I had. So when I went independent in 2014, And I had, all of these clients who are small business owners, entrepreneurs. They didn't need a good stock idea or retirement plan. What they actually needed was help managing that cash flow, like the business being profitable. Because quite frankly, a lot of people's wealth is not going to come from their stock portfolio. It's
Mhm.
going to come from their business. How profitable and successful is the business? Can they sell it later on? Is a child or somebody else going to take it over? So that's where I really started to kind of devote my attention. So with that, I went out and became a certified Profit First professional. Got exposed to the Profit First methodology, the book that came out. So if you haven't read the book, get the book Profit First. I was exposed to it at a mastermind group, and then from there, I was like, this is perfect. So I went out and did that whole piece, connected with Mike Michalowicz and the folks over there with Profit First, and just hone my expertise. So it's kind of crazy because I've worked in these different environments all these years. So, I've been in the wirehouse, as a wealth manager, the largest wealth management fund and firm in the world, and taking companies, IPOs and taking companies public. So I did that. I worked at one of the largest banks in the world. I worked in the branches, saying I was with one of the largest retirement plan companies of the world. And then also too, I had my background in real estate. So when you start to pull all of that together, it's like, I understand how businesses work on the inside out. So
Yeah.
that's how I got into this space. So real quickly, there's a stat out there that 83% of businesses that do less than 25 million in annual revenue is a paycheck, or we'll say a quarter away from having to close their doors.
Yeah.
So when I look at that number, it's like I was one of them. I was one of those 83%, you know what I'm saying? Because I lost a $4 million real estate portfolio. And I said, you know what? The issue is they don't have the financial systems to manage their cash flow. So most companies are going to have a CFO, but a full-time CFO, but that full-time CFO might be $200,000-$300,000 a year. We may not in a position to pay somebody that. So if you don't have the CFO, then you need to have the system. And how we come in from a fractional standpoint, we come in and help install that cash management or that financial system for the business, and also provide some guidance, sometimes some coaching, some directive, and just make sure that they have that in place so they can focus on making money, knowing that they have the right system in place. So the fractional means that we come in at a fraction of a cost. So instead of having to pay, somebody six figures, we come in for a fraction of that, and you can kind of have that peace of mind knowing that you have the right things in place that can lead towards, creating that financial freedom that you're looking for.
Gotcha. So as far as the systems are concerned, is that where the Profit First model comes in? Because I'm
Yeah.
familiar with Profit First
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
I my previous coach told me about it, and then
Hmm.
I knew that you knew about that model. How Talk to us a little bit about especially because there are probably going to be a lot of people watching who are business owners or want to be business owners, and they
Yeah.
might be struggling right now with their not knowing what to do with their finances. And then you throw out Profit First, and they maybe don't really understand what that means. Just
Yeah.
tell us about Profit First and how it helps business
Yeah.
owners.
Absolutely. So, and also too, to go back to one thing that you mentioned earlier as well, is we saw 2020, a lot of people had to make that pivot and
Yeah,
started their business.
yeah,
So we'll tie that together. So the Profit
good.
First methodology is this. Usually when we think about managing our finances, we usually go directly to the bookkeeper and the accountant.
Right.
Okay. And you need to have those people in place. So one takeaway is definitely have your financial team in place. So you need your bookkeeper, you need your accountant. Sometimes it's the same person. The issue with running your business off of their reports is it's telling you what already happened. So it's like driving a car and looking in the rearview mirror. Well, if you're going to grow your business, you need to be able to see forward. You need a dashboard that says, hey, this is what's happening right now, and this is what's about to happen. So it's like if we were on the highway right now going, 180 miles per hour on 270, if we're looking in the rearview mirror all the time, we're going to crash. That's what happened to most businesses. They're going to, they're crashing. So you need something, a dashboard where you say, hey, this is where I need to put my money. So the Profit First system, if I was to, kind of bring it down, kind of not water it down, but really simplify it. It's the old envelope system that maybe your parents or your grandparents did, right? So it's like, hey, we got $100 in a house right now. 50 is going towards rent. 10 is going towards groceries, this is going towards, utilities, and you break it up so it stops you from commingling your funds and things of that nature. So what I found that most businesses suffer with, they're going to have one of these 5 issues. They're going to have they're going to have a tax issue, so they're going to owe taxes. That's one. Two, they're going to commingle funds. We call it micro embezzling. So simply put, they're using business to cover personal and personal to cover business. I've done that. Saying, I mean, I don't know too many business owners that haven't played that game, right? 3, they really don't know whether or not the business is truly profitable because they're waiting for a report versus being able to look at their bank statements and something they really understand and like, oh yeah, we're definitely profitable right now, right? They don't know how to pay themselves. So a lot of the newbies who started their businesses in 2020, they're moving and grooving. They made the pivot. They started a business. Well, how do you actually pay yourself? Right. So that's another issue. And then number 5 is going to be kind of dealing with debt. So most Americans have some form of debt that they need to get rid of. So I've never met a business owner who didn't have at least one, if not all 5 of those situations going on, right? So that's where that profit first comes in, because you don't have to be a financial expert to understand I'm gonna put these monies into this envelope, and I'm only gonna spend this on operating expenses. I'm gonna pay myself this. This is set aside for taxes. This is set aside for maybe materials and subs. So that's the simplified way to look at it.
And I think that, it's funny to me because when I first started selling real estate, that's one of the things they talked to us about was not commingling our funds, right? Like we shouldn't commingle our funds. And I will say I've never commingled them. in Well, let's not say that. I did a little bit of commingling in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I met my husband, who is an accountant, he was just like, okay, we need to clean this up a little bit. And so,
Yep.
we had our business, and it was basically business. But like you said earlier, a lot of business owners don't pay themselves. So I spent many years not really paying myself
Yeah.
because, excuse me, I would have my real estate money right here, and then
Mm-hmm.
we would just pay all the real estate bills, and then whatever was left, we would take that money, right?
Yep.
And so it was like we're we're not really getting ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not paying ourselves. And then you see that big old lump sum of money, 30 grand in the bank account, and you're like, oh, I can go and I can take this class, or I can travel over here,
Yep. Yep.
and you're doing it all under the guise of it's a business expense,
Expense.
right?
Yeah.
But you're not thinking, okay, now I want to take a personal trip. Or if you're like me, you want to contribute to the household, right? You
Yeah.
want to be able to get a paycheck to give to the household. And
Mm-hmm.
so I like that whole profit first model because it helps you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it does remind me of that whole envelope system, where mom says, okay, we only got $100 for groceries this week. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't spend nothing else. If you spend it all by Tuesday, ain't gonna be no
We
extras.
ain't no extras. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you shop
Exactly.
different because you think
Exactly.
when you only got that limited amount of money, you
Yeah.
shop very different.
And the thing too is it helps you, and for those of you guys watching, Perry's been helping me with my profit first model, and I'm still trying to learn it and get used to it, and
Mhm.
it's an interesting thing. But I find that I see my money and I know, okay, I've got a project to do because I'm also, a stager as well. So from a staging perspective, okay, I only have this much money to spend on this particular project, whether that be for buying new furniture or whatever. But then at least I know, okay, I can see where my money's going. And it is a whole lot easier. It's kind of freeing, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
But my
absolutely.
question though to you is, what do you say to people? Because I think maybe when you and I talk, I may have even said this. What do you say to people who are like, well, look, I need the business to run. It's 2021. 2020 was cray cray. I started my new business because, I
Mhm.
just figured it was the best time because people got all these grants and these loans and all this other kind of stuff. And now my
Yeah.
business is up and running, but I don't want the business to fail. So
Mhm.
I gotta not take any money, right?
Yeah.
What do you say when business owners come to you with that and you're trying to show them how to manage their finances?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's so many different levels to it. I'm gonna try to make it concise. The first thing we address is this: if you're starting a business from scratch, you are the business, which means you are the most important employee. So you might not have an assistant, you might not have an operations manager or a marketing person. So you are the number one employee. Do you know of any businesses where the top employee, the top CEO, is not getting paid? No, they get paid. So you have to think about it along those lines of, hey, how do I pay myself? Because you don't want to be working for free. You know what I'm saying? We're not in that game. Hey, you work for free, and kind of that old adage, or that axiom that people, that's been kind of shared through generations and generations is, hey, you don't take any income and you just put it all back into the business. Well, guess what? You'll be putting all back into the business until the day you die and still won't have a nest egg or nothing that you can really pass on. So keep this in mind that you are the number one employee in your business, and kind of how I tell clients, how dare you not pay yourself? You are the number one employee. You got to pay yourself. Even if it's a little bit, you got to get in the habit of paying yourself. And
Right.
then to take that to just another level, you have to start a business with the end goal in mind. So a true business is one that you don't have to be there for. So
Yeah.
when you're building this business and you're putting these systems in place, your position is, maybe you may be the only person now in the business, but maybe in, a couple years or even faster, maybe it's 10, 20 people in the business. Well, you need to be able to remove yourself from the business and still get paid. So
Yeah.
you want to put the systems in place now so that you can forecast that out and be able to work towards that. That lot starts with your financial systems, but also to your operational systems. So what happens to so many entrepreneurs, I've done it too, and even I'm kind of unwinding it right now, is okay, if something were to happen to me, how would the business continue to flourish? So,
Right.
we coming out the pandemic. I had COVID, broke my leg. So that last quarter of 2020, I broke my leg, major surgery, got COVID, down for a couple of weeks, and then I had a blood clot in my lung. A lot of people don't know about that. So I'm rushed to the emergency room, right? And that's a major, major issue. So as
Yeah.
soon as I come out and I'm having a conversation with my wife, we get past all the, hey, what would I've done had you died? You're my best friend. And then after we got past that conversation, it was like, well, what would have happened to your business? What would have happened to your clients? You have people who depend on you. You
Mhm.
have your staff who depends on you. You have your family who depends on you. So if you start out with your business not paying yourself, all you're going to do is continue to grow a business where you're not effectively paying yourself. And that's hurting your business in the long run, because now you're saying to your business, the position that I'm in is not a position worthy of being paid. How are you gonna hire somebody to take it over if you're not even paying the position, right? So I'm building a business now to where if I had to remove myself, or if, what I'm saying, for whatever reason I was removed, the business could continue to run. So two different, extremes on that. One, you're the most important employee of your business. Make sure you pay yourself. Like I say, how dare you not pay yourself? Two, build something that you can not just walk away from, but that you don't have to be in it day to day. To
Yeah.
do that, you got to put those systems in place now.
Right, right. And that makes sense too, because why would somebody, if you have a business that you want to sell, right? Like you said, nobody's going to want to take it over if you're not paying yourself. They're going to be like, well, how am I going to get paid? Because now I got to figure out all this stuff, right?
Right.
But if
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
walking into a business where this is how much you're making, and you can show them this is
Hmm.
this is what I make as the CEO, CFO, whatever, owner,
Yeah.
operator, whatever you call yourself.
Yeah.
You're running the show. This is how much you can make, because they're going to
Hmm.
want to know all the other stuff too, but they want to know,
Yeah.
how much am I going to make? It's kind of like
Exactly.
in real estate, buying a cash flowing property. I don't want to buy a property that ain't cash flowing, right?
Facts. Right. Like, hold on. You have a business that you can't pay yourself. That's an unsuccessful business.
Yeah.
Right. So that same, like, I love that example. That's a perfect analogy. Oh, this is a great rental property. Okay, let me see the rent rolls. You know what I'm saying? What's the income? Well, there isn't. We just put it all. Well, I don't want that. I don't want that property.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy. That's dope.
Because you don't know, you buy a property that's not cash flowing. It's like, and a lot of people are buying rentals now, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, I want to buy this property. It's a great property. I want to look at the numbers. And Will and I have done this where we've looked at the numbers. It's like, okay, well, it's like not cash flowing at all. Like, we're
At
not
all.
making any money off of it. We're not even making $200 a month off of it, right? So
Hmm.
same concept. You have to pay yourself.
Hmm.
So what you guys do is really more targeted at the entrepreneur and running their business. You do
Yeah.
financial advising for the entrepreneur as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So traditionally, that's what we've always done until we made our pivot. And that was probably over maybe the last 3 or 4 years where we went into this fractional CFO space. So,
Okay.
our kind of claim to fame is, we're the go-to financial advisor for the entrepreneur because financial planning and retirement planning for a small business owner entrepreneur is very different than
Mm,
somebody who has a W-2 job or they're working for the state where they're going to get a pension for $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Financial, that's just a different skill set, and
right.
we've gotten really good at that. So yep, so we offer the traditional financial planning as you would for entrepreneurs, just understanding that their needs are very different than the person who has a job.
So you're kind of like a one-stop shop then.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that. And that's again why we have to scale and really put systems in place because again, I don't want the business dependent on just what I do. But yeah, for that entrepreneur on the advisory side as well as the business side, this the two really are kind of just opposite sides of the coin, right? You
Nice.
can't even talk about investing if your business ain't cash flowing because you ain't got no money to invest. So let's
Right.
get the business cash flowing. And then now we can talk about money to invest and kind
Yeah.
of build off of it that way.
Yeah. So
Yep.
you'll start with the business owner from the bottom up and you can just
Yep.
help them. Awesome. Awesome. So Perry, where and how can people reach you if they want to? What's the best way for them to reach you if they want to touch base with you and get some assistance with their businesses?
Yeah. So first place I would send them is the perryjeffries.com website. If
Okay.
you go to perryjeffries.com / free resources, on that page, you have our YouTube link where you can go and check out our YouTube videos. We have a Facebook community, our entrepreneur ecosystem, which is, saying no cost to join. And then you can schedule a consultation that way. So I would send you there because that'll give you access to all of our resources. And
Gotcha.
I'm real big on, hey, information. I'll give it away. Some people say, no, get the information away, charge for the information. Me personally, I'll give you the information for free. Come to us when you're ready to implement. And that's where, you got to invest on that side of it. But
Yeah.
go to perryjeffries.com and then, hit us up on social media. We're on, Facebook and LinkedIn and IG, all of that good stuff. Can't do TikTok. Have to teach when an 11-year-old's gonna have to teach me how to do that. I still don't have that down.
Or
And
what about Clubhouse? Because
yeah,
Clubhouse is up
No, just with that. I'll go on Clubhouse for a little bit, but I see folks that be on Clubhouse for like 26 hours out of 24-hour day. I ain't got that type of time. I'll jump in and jump out real quick. But yeah, but definitely connect with us on the Facebook and definitely go to perryjeffries.com. Even if we don't connect and speak to each other, directly, there's a ton of resources on there that can bless you and get you going in the right direction.
All right, all right. Well, thank you, Perry. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. And everybody will have in the description, I will have all of Perry's contact information as well, just in case you didn't get a chance to write it down. There won't be any excuses. You'll be able to still get to it. You guys take care. Have a great day.
And thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.